but what you're doing is
history.
a psychological tactic.
It's not a psychological tactic. This ain't the army, bro. I'm a black man asking another black man, brother, what books on your history that wasn't given to you in your school, that wasn't given to you in your frat, that wasn't given to you by your sergeant, that you yourself on your own curiosity went to read, that might take you slightly outside of what you think you know about yourself? Can you name one book, brother? No, you want me to play the bruiser game because that's what you like to play with people, but I'm not these people you can play with. So answer my question. Answer my question, bro. Answer my question. I'm not in no trouble. I didn't say that. The Christians said.
You just told me philosophical.
No, bro. Listen.
That I gotta go and read something to get on your level.
No,
to have a conversation with you,
bro.
That's what the Christians do.
No, bro. We're talking about a certain subject.
When you say, "Can you prove this? Can you prove that?" Are you coming from the angle as if you could prove it wrong? If we can't prove it right, it's the same true. If you use mathematics. The fact you're leaning on the fact that we can't prove it right, we can respond in a way mathematically that said you can't prove it wrong, right? You believe that, right?
You got the floor. I'm gonna.
No, that's just a simple question, just to make sure it's. I'm just doing a simple a logic.
That's
see if we can actually have a conversation.
This is not a math issue. This is talking about where we at today. Because what people like to say, because what I hear I had these conversations. See, this is the thing. Like, I didn't just wake up like this. I've been knowing who I was. I was 19. I'm 40 years old. So I'm 20 years in. I didn't did the church. I didn't did all that shit. It's nothing. It's nothing new. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing. I did it. So what I'm saying is this: I focus on things that directly attribute us today. The concepts in the Bible are universal. Anybody can grow from it. Anybody can know thou shalt not kill. You, of course, shouldn't do that. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not sleep with a man. These are basic human understandings. Outside of that, outside of those rules, everything else, you can have it or leave it. It's not really pertinent more than those things. So
yeah,
what I
was listening. I was listening.
So what I'm saying is this:
the whole entire 2 hours. I know exactly what you were saying.
So what I'm saying is this: if it doesn't have anything to do with our current situation, it's irrelevant. A lot of people like to make excuses and fantabulous reasons why the Bible matters more than documented history, because it's just a very fancy way of them saying, I'm not going to read shit. And that's fine. That's why I keep saying I'm not trying to change what people believe. Let's just focus on what really matters, and we can be a better people, and we can move.
Let me ask you this.
Because y'all not going to read nothing I'm talking about.
Let's just talk about one of the points you just made about homosexuality.
I never brought up homosexuality.
Well, you said you just shouldn't sleep with a man or something like that.
I said have sex with a man's wife. I didn't bring up nothing about homosexuality.
Okay, so you said that's basic human understanding.
I mean, it is. I mean, at this point, at our age, if I took the Bible away from everybody on this panel, would you be able to survive for the rest of your life?
Well, hold on. Before
I'm asking a question. Would you, if the Bible was taken off the planet, would you be able to survive and take care of your family?
I can answer your question, but what you're doing psychologically is you're stacking on top of a point that I'm trying to dissect to just have a logical conversation. Let's just start with what the point you just made. You just said that it's basic human understanding that you don't necessarily need any type of instructional doctrine
at this point,
know whether you should or not. And I'm saying, how can you prove, using your logic, how can you prove that without any biblical or doctrine that, hey, you shouldn't touch this man's woman or wife? Where would that come from without any backing, any principles or standards or any type of structural resource?
Experience. You touch his wife and he killed you, and now you know I ain't doing that shit no more. Like, life is the best.
Okay, hold it right there. Then that means that the man who retaliated would have to have some type of understanding that was wrong to do. But that would also have to come from somewhere.
It come from in here. So you mean that? So we all know when you were living in life, you feel shit. I think I need to leave. No, I don't think it's called discernment. It's called intuition. That's why have you ever noticed? I don't know if you used to watch Channel 13 back in the day. I may be showing my age, but they used to have little story time sometimes. And they'd show like an African griot, and they would say how they would just to understand life. They would just study nature. He would study the ants, study the animal. They would study their environment, and they would understand from their environment how to move. So I'm not saying if you, like I said, if you want to use the Bible, you could use it, bro. But you can use many books to learn how and not to behave. It's not the Bible is not that didn't monopolize thought, but it kind of did. That's why I always go back to the Inquisitional period, because what we're seeing right now, I'm sorry, what y'all are proving is that what they did worked, because they put the Bible in our head so much with that whip that we can't even fathom any other train of thought that might be enlightened that is not in Jesus' name. That's a product of colonization. I don't care what you say. If you can't see life beyond just that book, not to say that book can be included in the books of knowledge, but to just say this is it and that's it, that's just ignorant, because the world goes on without that book.
Let me ask one more question. Do you believe that anything that
Bruiser, you asked the right question.
I did,
right?
He didn't answer.
Because Illa pontificates, right? And then we want to move on. No, the concepts of marriage, wife, and all that is biblical. So you saying, how do you know? Because you said, Illa, you saying basically, if you lose the fight, you know how to do it, not to do it again. What if you win the fight? Right? Because here's the thing, right? That was a rhetorical. Sorry. So now, like this part, right? Lions, when you talk about animals and shit like that, we need to stop doing that. They sniff ass before they fuck too, right? We don't do everything they do. But here's the thing. I know that was more of a joke, you heard? So like this, right? When lions come, right? And let's say you got a pride and all that. But if you lose that fight to me, guess what you got to do? Move on. Right? So that's how lions actually work. So that it's a false equivalency. Right, but you getting these concepts biblically speaking. That's how you know not to sleep with another man's wife. Because you do it based on a wild, the strong survive. That's who rules. I could take your woman if you can't beat my ass.
So you think the Bible introduced that concept? You think before the Bible people didn't know that?
No.
The Bible is the beginning.
That's not true. That's just not true.
Let me do you one better. Incest.
That's true,
I don't believe people went through triage with incest and then figured out, okay, look, our eyes are growing too far apart from each other, or we growing all these, our ears are ridiculous, we got all Down syndromes, let's not do it. I think this was something that was taught to a people from some type of higher being, that these are the things that you should and should not do. And people deviate, and when people deviated, and it's been recorded, these things happen. There's consequences for it. The logic I got from you, Illa, is that anything that came pre-recorded, pre-audio that you can't, or if nobody exists anymore that actually affiliated in that timeline, you cannot prove it.
And what I get from you is you ain't gonna read shit, so you're gonna stick to the Christian faith because you're not gonna read nothing outside of that to challenge that. So you're gonna just point your finger at people who actually went beyond the limitations of your mindset. That's what I got.
Take me behind the limitations of that. Let's start.
Tell me what you've read in your life outside of the Bible. Just answer the question. What bodies of work? What bodies of work?
What you're doing is a psychological tactic.
It's not a psychological tactic. This ain't the army, bro. I'm a black man asking another black man, brother, what books on your history that wasn't given to you in your school, that wasn't given to you in your frat, that wasn't given to you by your sergeant, that you yourself on your own curiosity went to read that might take you slightly outside of what you think you know about yourself? Can you name one, brother?
I can answer that question, but I just want to confirm that I am right about your logic, that anything pre-audio and video or any database that took DNA, any of the guys or characters or speakers, whoever came before us, if nobody was here in their lineage to witness them or point the finger to, oh yeah, I know him, I spoke to him. Your logic is that if you can't prove it, it may necessarily not be true.
Okay.
That's just, I'm just trying to do a logic test before we have a conversation.
I give people, why deal with something that's not beneficial? So let's just say I did believe that. Let's just say I believe that Jesus died and rose in 3 days. How was that making me a better person? Let's just say I did believe that Noah took 2 of every animal and flew and had a boat. How does that make me a better person? Say if I believe that Moses took the stick and split the sea, how does that make me a better person? Can you answer that for me?
How does it make you a better person? But what's
So
your
answer the question. How does it make me a better man by knowing that?
I am answering the question. You're loading the question, and you want me to. You
No,
want
you want me to play the
respond.
bruiser game because that's what you like to play with people. But I'm not these people you can play with. So answer my question. Answer my question, bro. Answer my question. I'm not in no. This ain't no detention room. This ain't sites and filter, none of that shit.
I listen to you ask the question.
You ain't answer my question. I asked you 2 questions. You ain't answer none of them. You ain't answer no book.
I'm trying to answer the question.
Bro, I'm not playing this game with you.
I'm gonna premise. I'm gonna premise my answer like this.
How does that make me a better man?
Because you're filibustering the conversation.
No, I'm not. I asked you, how does that make me a better man?
First of all, I never said Moses took a stick and put it in the fucking ground and make the person a better man. So you're putting a jacket on me that I never even.
See, you got the right one. I'm gonna tell you what you're doing. So
I never came to this panel and said if you put a stick in the ground, if the man who put a stick in the ground makes you a better, knowing that story makes you a better man. I never came from that.
Yeah, but this how I'm gonna catch you. You real slick, but you talking to a can of oil, bro. This is what you just did. You brought up and said, "Look, you said if Illa can't prove it, it's not real." So when you say something like that, you're alluding to things that are supernatural that I'm saying that this belief in them is irrelevant. So you're alluding to those things, but now that I'm holding you to how those things make me better, you can't do it. You playing games, but I'm not.
It's not restricted to supernatural. You added supernatural to it. I'm talking about anything, natural, supernatural, anything. If I tell you, if I say, hey, look, elevators could go up 10 floors. What your logic is like, unless I see that elevator and I can get on that elevator.
That's not my logic. I'm alluding to supernatural events that people use as their reasoning to accept someone or deject someone despite them having a good character. Bro, I'm not stupid, bro. Don't let this hood shit fool you, bro. I'm not dumb at all, bro. So I don't know what you're trying to do. So we're going to get back to your questions. I need you to tell me, how does these things make me a better man? And what bodies of work and what books have you read personally that gave you a higher understanding on your history that wasn't given to you by American academia? Do you have any, my brother?
Do I have any books that I've read that gave me a higher understanding
about Black history and Black culture, socially, politically, prior to colonization? Do you have any of those bodies of work, my brother? That's not the Bible.
Yeah, I've read books that gave me a higher elevator.
Give me a reference so I can read what you read, so I can learn how you learn.
Well, it's not going to help you learn how I learn, but I will mention that I've read, I recently just read Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson.
That's not a historical book prior to colonization, but I appreciate you reading that book. Shout out to Claude Anderson. That's a dope book.
It referenced some books that is prior to colonization.
But that's the economic book. That's an economic book talking about post. That's not a historical book. It may have historical references, but that book is about economics. So I'm gonna ask you one more time.
Okay. Well, let me just make the conversation easy
right here, right? This is a book right here, right? It's called The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Have you read? Do you have a book like that, my brother, that you could point me to?
I have. Let's just say this. Let's just go on the record and say I haven't read it. What's your point?
You just made it. Can we move on?
What's the point?
I'm done.
Let's just say I haven't read any of those books you read.
I'll rest my case.
What is your point in this conversation?
I'll rest my case because I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. I'm talking to the people. I'm talking to the people. You ain't got to agree with me. You made my point for me. I'm good.
I'm not trying
you made my point, brother. I'm good.
I'm not trying to agree or disagree with you. I'm just trying to understand your logic. That's it.
Bro, it ain't for you because you just proved that you don't read. So I ain't got to talk to you about nothing.
So you're saying that I proved that I don't read because I don't read
the subject you're talking about. No, you're speaking from a place of education, assimilation, and moralism. You're not speaking from a place of studied history. Hemp at least to give me that. You ain't got that, bro. This ain't your lane.
But listen, can you at least agree that the questions the line of question I gave
you? I don't agree.
I don't agree.
Well,
you see, what you're doing is you're cutting me off.
I'm just over it because you ain't
you're saying 1,000 words and I'm only able to get 20 words out.
Because you
Let me
haven't
just say
read
that-
nothing.
Let me just say this, philosophical.
Just call me E, bro.
When I first came on this panel, the line of question that I introduced to you, it didn't restrict me. It wasn't contingent upon me having to read something pre-civilization or pre-colonization or whatever you want to call it. My questions derive from just trying to understand your logic. Simple.
Bro, some people don't want to understand it, and it ain't for everybody to get. But all I'm saying is, if you haven't read anything outside of that book, then you will always think what I'm saying is radical because you haven't
And
read what I
and
read.
I'm glad you said that. You know why?
You haven't read what I read.
What you just did, what the Christians did. If you basically, you just said, if you haven't read the Bible, if you haven't studied Christian, you
I
won't
would sound
understand
radical.
it.
No, the Christians say
You're no different than the people that you just criticized for 3 hours.
The Christian said, if you don't
You
believe
said,
I believe,
you
I'm gonna
just
kill
told,
you. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Hold on.
The Christians, no, the Christian said,
You just told me, philosophical,
no, bro, listen.
that I gotta go and read something to get on your level
No,
to have a conversation with you.
bro.
That's what the Christians do.
No, bro. We're talking about a certain subject, and you're questioning my stance on it. And I'm asking you, have you read anything? Because you came in saying if you can't prove it, then it's not real. That's what E thinks. What you were alluding to is my disbelief in biblical phenomenon. That's all you were alluding to.
I'm asking you to confirm or not.
Bro, I'm responding. So that's how you came in, alluding to me doubting the Bible, because I'm more a person of history than I am of religion. I think history tells you why religion came, when it came, and what was its purpose, more than religion will tell you about history. But that's just my humble opinion. So
I got one more question for you,
bro. So for me, for you to come at me, I wanted to know, have you read anything on the matter? And according to you, you haven't. Then you said this is what the Christians do. I said you can't have the conversation. The Christian said, I will kill you if you don't believe what I believe. So please don't put me in that category. I didn't say that. I just said I'm not about to keep arguing. The Bible said, respectfully, don't cast pearls to swine. I'm not trying to sit here and convince nobody or nothing. But I'm not, you can't, if you haven't read something, if you don't have no frame of reference, you just talking when it comes to this subject. It's like me. I didn't go to the army, so I can't tell you what I believe about the army because I ain't go. So
okay,
can't tell me about history.
Let's just stick right there. You said the Bible said don't cast pearls to swine.
Yeah.
Do you believe that?
Because that concept is not biblical. It's just
okay. Hold on, wait.
Argue with fools. That's not.
I'm gonna do what you did to me. Answer the question. Do you believe it or not?
I believe that concept. Yes.
Prove it to me that concept is true. All right.
Because when you argue with foolish people, you're wasting your time. I lived it. I experienced it in my life, like easy. And you got another one?
What my whole thing is, you're quoting all these parables and all of these scriptures
from the Bible,
sense,
bro.
At the same time, you're debunking it.
I'm not. No, you just don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna live with that, bro.
I'm trying. That's why I'm trying to understand you.
Nothing. You trying? I know what you're trying to do, but they ain't trying to understand. Because what I'm saying is real simple. But
well, it's not really actually all that simple. If it was really all that simple, you wouldn't have to use 1,000 words to be able to respond to me.
I use 1,000 words. I just could speak like quick like that. I'm sorry. I got a gift. But all I'm saying is, bro, I don't have to agree with what you're talking about. I just don't.
Okay.
Like I know you're lying.
Well, for the record, I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. I'm not trying to get you to agree with me. I don't. If anybody on this panel it seems like I come off with any type of energy trying to get philosophical to agree with me. I came on here just asking questions to try to understand.
You don't homie, you cool, bro, but I know what you be doing. It just ain't gonna work on me, bro.
Man, come on, man. I'm not facetious. Bro, I ain't got no.
It ain't facetious, bro. This content, y'all be on some content shit. Bro, I really be like this though. Like I really I was in the hood talking the same shit with real killers, niggas that blow your head off. Like I stand on what I stand on. Like this ain't no act. So all I'm saying is if you want to have a conversation about black culture with me, this is just a pet peeve of Illa. This ain't no universal rule. This is just a pet peeve. I just like when people come into it with a little scholarship, brother. That's all.
Well, I got a question for you.